all of the red scabbards, Kinemon, Denjiro, Kikunojo, Raizo, Ito Arashi Nekomamushi, Kawamatsu Ashura Doji, and including Izo, all of them were able to damage Kaido on the rooftop. Furthermore, during Roof Peace, when you have the supernova against the Yonko, Big Mom and Kaido, Killer, Zoro, without even having the full mastery of Enma just yet, Luffy, with no Conqueror's Haki infusion, Kid and Law, all of them could damage Kaido in some way. Yet somehow, some way, people to this day say that Sanji can't damage Kaido at all. Madness! This, without a doubt, is just a load of crap. I think of the Jurassic Park. Wow.
That is one big pile of shit.
The idea that Sanji can't damage Kaido, and some folks do say that to this day, even though they're clearly wrong, I think is a roundabout way of dunking on Sanji for not being on the rooftop during Onigashima during the raid, and how he had a Maria, which, mind you, these are outstanding moments for a character for Robin and Sanji, especially when you pair it up with the content we saw with Whole Cake Island and Enies Lobby, where Sanji needed help from a woman to take care of Khalifa, but instead chose not to ask for help. And I can go down the list, but because Sanji wasn't badass, people dock points, which is ridiculous. So the obvious, I would say, the obvious thematic reason why Sanji was on Roof Peace, it was because Sanji had his thing with the Yonko in the last arc in Whole Cake Island, where Sanji saves the entirety of Thailand. He saves like tens of millions of lives across the entire section of the New World by baking the cake. I'm not surprised it was on Roof Peace, but to say, okay, hold on, because he was there, he wasn't worthy. Like,
I know.
Here's the reality of the matter, okay? When you look at how the damage works with Kaido, Kaido is built in a very particular way, where he's very sturdy, very tough with his dragon scales. And yes, he has Haki, obviously, but there is a way that you can actually bypass his natural defenses, his scales, and do internal damage to him. We see that particularly with Luffy, with Killer, and with Law during Roof Peace, where Luffy went through the training of real Haki during the Udon Prisoner Mines, where like he skipped a step. So his aura is not, let's say, just projecting out, but it can go inside of an object and do internal damage. So his hits are naturally doing internal damage every time he slaps on that Ryo. One. Two is that you have Killer with that Scyther Sonic, which I believe is a sound-based technique, where via sound and frequency and vibrations, like a Toriko Zebra, he's able to bypass the natural defenses of Kaido, and his sound sickle stings, they go past Kaido's scales right for the internal organs. And then, of course, obviously, like the best person for this by far and away, Trafalgar D. Water Law. Defenses don't matter, bypass, internal organs, shockwave, gamma knife. He gamma knifed Kaido, bro. Oh man, to this day, crazy. All those attacks did damage to Kaido, bypassing his natural defenses. In the case of Kid and Zoro, they do more frontal damage, where Kid does throw Kaido, slam him to the ground, which is, it's funny, but at the same time, look at Muscle Luffy in Gear 5. He's also throwing Kaido to the ground, and Kaido's going, Aah! That toss does do damage in some way. How much damage, it's hard to really say, but it does do something. And then Zoro, I mean, obviously he scarred Kaido, duh. And then even beforehand, when Kaido does his Demolition Twister stuff, Zoro does his own Twister, and he's able to cut through Kaido's scales. And then you also argue with Luffy too, the Ryo is a combination of both internal and frontal damage increases too, compared to Act 1 of Wano Country. Based on what we know right now and how you damage Kaido, Sanji has shown that capability ever since he first used the Devil Leg. The heat of the Devil Leg is able to bypass natural defenses and go straight to the bone. Jabra, who among CP9 at the time, was the most proficient at using Tekkai, Iron Body. And he was able to move that Iron Body. He called it his banana stance, his wolf banana, all of these names. Sanji was able to bypass that Iron Body, and the heat of the Devil Leg went right through the organs into the bone. The bone. That's what Jabba said he felt like his bones were actually on fire. And when we flash forward to Wano Country, during the Scabbard fight, all the scabbards have the Ryo Haki, the Oden Haki that Kaido was confused about. They could do internal damage to Kaido with their Haki, all of them, including Izuda's bullets. They could all do damage to Kaido. And this also includes the quote-unquote 6th Yonko, Raizo. Raizo was able to absorb the blast breath and then rebound the blast breath onto Kaido, and that did damage to Kaido. So Kaido does take some damage from his own attacks, his own blast breath. Again, how much damage? Hard to say, but damage nonetheless. Sanji's soul already burns hotter than fire. And in terms of just sheer temperature, the Ifrit's way better than that, guaranteed. Why? He's making lightning. He's producing plasma as a byproduct of the Ifrit. No, what? No. Sanji, in terms of temperature, on paper, is just well beyond the blast breath. Just making lightning as a byproduct of the Ifrit. That's insane. So if Kaido takes damage from his own attack, that the scrolls rebound onto him, his own blast breath, not necessarily a lot of damage, but some damage, okay, then the Ifrit is doing more damage, guaranteed. But outside of that, we can do a comparison here between Sanji, the Scabbards, Queen, and Marco the Phoenix. And here's how it all lines up. We know that Inuarashi, at his strongest form, is able to beat Jack the Drought. Jack the Drought being under Queen the Plague in terms of combat skills. But because Sanji beat Queen, and because Inuarashi beat Jack, it's very clearly that Inuarashi is weaker than Sanji, particularly when Sanji with Ifrit and he just destroyed Queen. It was a wrap in the manga. And if Sulong Inu could do damage to Kaido, then Sanji can do damage to Kaido, because one of the core components of the Devil Egg, once again, is to bypass natural defenses and with temperature go into the internal organs and even the bone. But then we can go some further with Marco the Phoenix. Marco and Queen have interactions, several of them. We saw Marco give Queen 2 attacks in the manga particularly. One was the Crane Talon, but before that was also the Phoenix brand attack, which was an internal shockwave move that Queen takes from Marco. And while it does cough up blood and so on and so forth, there is no real mention of like lasting damage that Queen took from Marco, or like that meme moment with Chopper. There's like no hints of lasting damage that Queen took. But Sanji was different. In chapter 1034, Sanji calls out Queen and he tells Queen, me and you, we've been fighting for a while, and I know for a fact that my attacks have done lasting damage to you. And in the anime version of this, episode 1061, the attack specifically Sanji's noting to is Sanji's grill shot. And the grill shot is far from Sanji's best attack. The Hell's Memories, the Flanchet Flare, they all do damage to Queen. Lasting damage to Queen compared to even Marco's attacks. Devil Leg, not Ifrit, with his Devil Leg is able to output more power than at the bare minimum the Crane Talon and particularly the Phoenix brand attack of Marco. And it's not to say that Marco is weaker than Queen. No, I'd say stronger. But it is to say that in terms of attack power, Sanji is superior than a 1st Division commander like Marco. And if Marco, with an internal shockwave-based Phoenix brand move, if he hit Kaido with that, Kaido is taking some damage. Sanji is not only, I would say, doing damage, definitively so, with Ifrit, but without a doubt also with his Devil Leg. His Devil Leg. His Devil Leg. His Devil Leg. Because I would say he's on par, at least with Marco, on par with Marco with the Devil Leg. The Ifrit is superior than that. And the case in point is Queen the Plague. And all of them have better attack power than the Scabbards. No offense to the Scabbards, but they just do. Inu, I would say, is among the top 2 strongest Scabbards. I would say he's stronger in Sulong form. I would say he's stronger than Ashura Doji, than Denjiro, than Kinemon, than Kikuno, comfortably. But Sanji's already better than that because he beat a superior commander. Despite all the family and daddy issues, despite his body acting all weird and transforming, despite his mental nerve stuff, that kicking him for the first time and all that kind of stuff, he still beat Queen. So at the end of the damn day, Sanji, if he's on the rooftop, like we see for the promo for the finale fights of Sanji and Zoro and Law and Kid and Luffy, if he's on the rooftop and Kill's out the window, Sanji is guaranteed doing damage to Kaido, even arguably at that point in time when he didn't have Ifrit yet, because at the bare minimum, his devil leg attack should be on par with someone like Marco's attacks. And if Marco can do damage to Kaido, so can Sanji, without a damn doubt. If the scabbards can do damage to Kaido, so can Sanji. It's quite simple, quite straightforward.
Sounds like you finally get it.
These are my thoughts on this slander, absolutely slanderous idea that Sanji can't do damage to Kaido. That is hard cap. And that's why I'm here to spread the good word of the best written character in One Piece, Kuroashi Vinsmoke Sanji. But let me know your stance on the topic at hand. If you enjoy this video content, make sure to give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click on that bell to join the notification squad. I'm gonna catch you guys on the flip side.
See you. Bye-bye.